Jason with Strength Running, and I want to talk about cadence today. Cadence is a really important metric when we're talking about your running form. And cadence is really your step rate, or how many steps you're taking per minute. Now, a lot of you have probably heard that runners should aim for 180 steps per minute. This is popularized by Jack Daniels in his phenomenal running book, Daniel's Running Formula, which I still refer back to this day. I'm pretty sure this was the first training book that I ever bought more than 20 years ago. But it's important to know that Jack Daniels discovered this 180 step rate number when he was looking at elite runners. So there's a couple things that we have to know about cadence if we are going to further optimize our cadence. Number one, cadence is very much dependent on your pace. So it's something that we always look at when you're running at an easy effort. So if you go for an easy run, that's the time to measure your cadence. You don't want to do it when you're running a workout or when you're in a race or when you're running strides, because anytime that you're running really fast, your cadence is going to be really high. It's very much dependent upon your pace. So the other thing to remember about cadence is that we do want optimal cadence numbers. Now, there's no perfect number, but there is a range depending upon the pace that you're running. And it's really a good idea to get in this optimal range because it's going to give you more economical running form. You're just going to be more efficient. You'll use less energy to train and do your races at the same effort. So I think that's something all runners are looking for, to do something with less effort but the same performance. And the other big reason is for injury prevention reasons. When you run with more economical form, with a higher, faster cadence, you're actually going to put a lot less stress on your legs. This can be slightly counterintuitive because a lot of runners think that by taking more steps, they're increasing the amount of stress that they're experiencing. But what you do when you increase your cadence into the optimal range is that you take shorter, quicker, faster steps rather than longer bounding steps. And so if you get out onto a field and you do a series of bounding drills, you'll see how stressful that is compared with simply running normally across the field. So it's really important for injury prevention reasons, but also for your economy, helping you become a more efficient runner. So with all that said, what should your cadence be? Well, it depends on your easy pace. If you're a runner who is running slower than 10 minutes a mile, roughly, for your easy pace, then it's going to be a good idea for you to be over 160 steps a minute. If you could be closer to 165 or 170, I think that would be wonderful. But as long as you're over 160 steps per minute, I think that is a very appropriate cadence level for this level of runner. Now, if your easy pace is faster than 10 minutes a mile, then we should at least be at 170 steps per minute. Now, this is where that 180 steps a minute was popularized for these slightly faster runners because it was measured on elite athletes. But if you're someone who's running 9 minutes a mile, 8 minutes a mile, maybe even 7 minutes a mile for your easy pace, let's try to be somewhere between 170 and 180 steps a minute. That's going to ensure you have a really economical form. Just to use myself as an example, I typically do my easy runs somewhere between 7:15 and 8 minutes per mile here in Denver. And I have always found that my cadence varies a little bit from between 172 to 178 steps per minute. So I'm right there in the middle of that range, and I'm in the faster than 10 minute per mile pace range for my easy runs. So it works out really well for me, and I think the training process is one of those things that really helps with your cadence. So make sure you're lifting weights, make sure that you are training fast. You're doing a workout every week, you're doing strides, and you're otherwise working on your speed in a regular and systematic way. The other thing that can really help with your cadence is form cues. These are mental ways of thinking about running and thinking about your form while you're out there running. And we have a form cues cheat sheet that's available for you to download with a bunch of my favorite cues. These are really simple ways for you to internalize better running form. And so I'll put a link up somewhere over here and underneath the video on YouTube so that you can get access to that form cues cheat sheet. I think it's gonna be really helpful for you. So what I want you to do is the next time you're out on an easy run, just count your cadence. Just count how many steps that you take, maybe on one leg for a whole minute, and then you can double it for both legs. And that will tell you what your cadence is. There's no perfect way of measuring your cadence. You just have to count it. And one of the best ways to play around with your cadence, once you have measured it, is to get on a treadmill. Why a treadmill? Well, with a treadmill, you can keep the pace constant. So you can keep the pace at whatever's comfortable for you. Maybe it's 8 minutes a mile, 9 minutes a mile, whatever. And then you can play with your cadence. You can increase it, you can decrease it, and you can see how that feels. And so what I want you to do after watching this video is just to be aware of your cadence. If it's too low, then we should work on increasing it. Use that form cues cheat sheet I talked about earlier and get on a treadmill and see how playing with your cadence makes you feel. I think you'll be surprised at how much better you feel with a cadence that's in the optimal range.